The next series I'll be covering is the front headlock series. The first thing I want to talk about is how a wrestler gets into the front headlock position. One of the better ways to work yourself into a front headlock position is when the opposition takes a shot. All you have to do is sprawl and then move right into your front headlock position. That's one way you can work yourself into that position. And a lot of the times the wrestlers that use a front headlock will bait the opposition. They'll wait for him to take a shot. He takes a shot, the inside leg goes back, and they're in a position to go into a front headlock. Another way to get into it is to snap this man from a collar tie position. From this position here, we talked about this a little bit when we went over the collar tie and inside control position. What we're going to do is snap his head straight down, drive your shoulder up over his head and at the base of his neck, like this. Now sometimes he'll go all the way down to the mat, or you might catch him when he's still up on his feet. In this case, we'll work on either taking him down from here or getting him down to the mat by pulling him in a certain direction. We'll cover that a little bit later. The other way that you can get yourself into a front headlock position is just by coming from an underhook position. From the underhook, all you do is you pull him in a circle this way, cup his head, and move right into a front headlock. Okay, if we're on this side, you pull the underhook towards you, like such, cup his head, and now you're into a front headlock position. Then you work into your grips. Okay, now, let's talk about how to control a man once we get him into a front headlock position. The thing you need to know about this front headlock is that it's a very, very effective way to control a man and score points on a takedown. Okay. To control this man in a front headlock position, there's a number of ways you can control your grip. Okay, let's talk about some of the things some of the ways that you can control him. One way that you can control him is by having palm up, palm down, with what we call a wrestler's grip, like this. From this position here, you're going to squeeze his arm into the side of his head and squeeze your elbows together so that you can control his head and this arm. Now, the things that you have to do when you get into this front headlock position, okay, we take this grip, is make sure that your elbow is above his head. As we squeeze his arm into the side of his head like such, you want to make sure that your elbow is above his head. We'll show you what we're talking about on the other side. Okay? Elbow above his head. Here's one of the first counters that the defensive man will try when you go into your front headlock. Okay, I'll take my front headlock position. Now watch, if my elbow is below his head, he'll come up and drag right out into a drag. If your elbow is above his head, he's going to have a very difficult time trying to drag out. He can't get to it. Okay? And you can get a really tight grip on his head if that elbow is above his head. What you're doing is squeezing the elbow in and the arm together, his head into his arm, like such. Okay, again, elbow above his head. That's very important. Now, as much as possible, when you take your elbow above his head, you still need to shift your weight towards the center of his body, because you want to put pressure on his head and be in a position so that you can not only take his head down, but take his head forward. A lot of wrestlers, when they get into a front headlock position, they just rest up on his back like such. Put pressure on this man and put him in a position so that you can have your easiest way to score points. Not only do you put pressure down, but you start to move him forward as you squeeze the head into the arm. Okay, let's get back to the grips. Again, the first grip, palm up, palm down. From here, you're going to squeeze both elbows together. Like I said, you want to shift your weight back to the center as much as possible, because you can lean too far over on this side and then you might lose him. So shift your weight back towards the center of his body. You can still have your elbow high in this position. Okay, now, the other thing you need to do to control this position is go up on your toes. Okay, so from this position here, when you go up on your toes, now this man's supporting all of my weight. Okay, he's supporting all of my weight. As I said before, if you grip him and put the weight not only down, but towards the front of his head, he will probably collapse right down to the mat. So from this position right here, You're up on your toes, and you start moving them this way. Now you're in a great position to score points. From this position, all I need to do is step up, block this arm, and I can move right behind. Okay, that's one grip. The next way you can grip him is by doing this. Before we locked like this, palm up, palm down. This time we're going to take him like this. This is also a very, very tight grip. We're doing the same things. We're taking a grip like this. We're going to squeeze the elbows together. Try to keep your elbow above his head, if at all possible. It may be somewhere alongside his ear. That's okay too. The key point here is that you don't want to be in a position so that this man could drag out. So, in this situation, palm up, palm down, and you're taking a grip like such. This is a very, very tight grip. Again, you're up on your toes, like such. The next grip I'm going to show, I feel, is one of the better grips. Very basic grip. What we're doing is going from here to the wrist. I find that I have more control this way and can do more changes to score than I can with the other two grips. The other two grips are very good. However, for me, this is the best way to grip it. Now from here, what I do is lock across, and you control your own wrist, like such. You get your elbow high, squeeze his arm into the side of his head, like that. Up on your toes, like that. All of these grips are good. The main thing you want to do is focus in on the things that will allow you to score points and keep him from defending your front headlock. Elbow above his head. Weight down and pressure forward, like such. Squeeze his arm into the side of his head. You can get an awful lot of pressure once you start squeezing his arm into the side of his head. The other way that you can control this man from a front headlock position is by controlling his chin. Control his chin here, and you control his elbow, like this. Control his chin, and you control his elbow. Your weight is still at the base of his neck. You can still have this man supporting all of your weight. You can do different techniques when you control this man's chin. You can do the same techniques when you control this man's chin. It's just a different way of controlling the front headlock position. Again, control his chin and control his elbow. Let me show you one technique that's very effective from this position. Weight at the base of his skull, elbow high. Now from here, all we're going to do is lift this up this way and back him up in a circle this way so that we collapse his body down to the mat. You notice I pull this elbow up like such, put all the weight in the area where he doesn't have any support, and his body collapsed right down to the mat during the time that I was controlling his chin with the other hand. Now once he's down to the mat, now it's just a matter of stepping over this arm and walking behind. Okay, now we're going to cover some of the techniques that you can use once you get control of this man down on the mat. As I said before, the front headlock is a very, very effective technique, and you can devastate the defensive man with this technique if you know how to use it properly. Okay, the first technique. Okay, you get yourself into a front headlock position, like such. You want to make sure, that you're up off your knees, elbow high, squeezing the arm into the side of his face. When you do techniques, what happens oftentimes is you change your grip from a controlled position like this to this and this type thing, or this and this type technique. We'll run through some of those. The first one we're going to show is a thigh block. Okay, so that Rick won't get too tired, I'm going to stay on my knees and show some of these techniques. I don't want my partner collapsing on me. Okay, so we're here. Okay, now obviously, again, you start off on your toes. To do this technique, what you do is you change your grip. You come from this position to here. Now, if his knee or knees are close enough, what we're going to do is change the grip from here to here. We're just going to reach across his knee, block it. Take him right over to the side. Now, two things may happen here. He may be flopped over far enough so that you can come around underhook and go cross chest. Or sometimes you do that technique and he'll pop right back up to his knees. Okay, first of all, we change from the grip to here. This is important. change your grip from here to here. Now go here. Now you pop him over, he pops back up to his knees, and you just ride him around in a circle that way. Okay, let's work through that scenario. I'm going to pop Rick over and have him pop right back up. You anticipate that he may pop right back up to his knees. Okay, so we have the grip. All right, now we change from here to here. Pop, and you go behind like such. The other thing that you can do from this front headlock position, okay, you change your grip, you pop him over. Now from here, you come right into an underhook, high leg over, cross chest. You're in a position to work for your pin. Another technique that you can use along the same lines from the front headlock position, okay, you control them here. Now the last time we came from this position to here, to here. This time we're going to come from here to here. Now we're going to shoot the free arm through all the way to the other side and block his far knee, like such. You control this, you get it tight. Now as soon as you do that, you shoot this arm all the way through, pop him over to his side, like that. Once you pop him over to his side, you don't rush forward like this. You're going to end up getting reversed. This is very important. Okay, we went from here to here. We shoot this arm all the way across to the other side. Pop him over. Now we sit back. We post the hand on the other side. We raise his head up like such. Sit him all the way up this way. Make sure that you have your legs spread and posted. Now when you get ready to take him back, you take your time so that when he goes back, you have him in a nice tight pinning combination. Okay, let's show that from the other side. Okay, again, front headlock position, I change my grip. Now watch, you shoot this across hard to the other side. Drive him over. Now, post to the other side. Now, you take him back. Take your time. Make sure that you keep this inside hand or arm locked up. Post. Now, sit him up. Keep your legs spread. Keep the hand posted out so that you can keep your balance. Now, once you get him here, just kind of walk him back towards his back. And now you've got him in a nice, tight pinning combination. Keep your legs spread. You may have to keep your hand posted. Okay. Those are two things that you can do from the front headlock position. Something else that you can do once you get into this position is just control him here. Now from here, what we're going to do from a position of being up on the toes is take your head, stick it right in his armpit. You're squeezing his arms together. Right? Now from here, you take your head, you squeeze it right in his armpit. Now, you go in a tripod position so that everything tightens up. Once you can see his ankle, you take his ankle. You can take him over, go into a cradle position, or you can go all the way behind and score points that way. Okay, watch again. Now, to the naked eye, it doesn't look like this is a position that's very stable. However, it tightens up more and more the more you drive your head into his armpit and move around towards the back part of his body. Okay, again, you get your grip right here. You take your head, you stick it right in his armpit. Now from here, you start walking behind, like this. From here, you reach. Right now, you can pull his head and his leg together for a cradle, drive him over, step in, it's on his back. Or, when you get him in this position here, stick your head in there, you walk behind, catch his ankle, just move him around behind. The other thing that you can do that's relatively simple, and it depends on how close his leg is to you from a front headlock position, is if he's in the right position, just reach behind, grab his ankle. Now when you grab his ankle, you just drive him over to his side. You may have to change your grips to keep him on his back or get your takedown. The other thing that I like to do from this position is a shuck. A shuck is an excellent technique. The key thing you have to do here is stay up on your toes. Now you can work it from a chin control tie, or you can work it from a tie where you control him in this position first. The thing I like to do is start moving in one direction and have him try to react to the direction that you're moving in. So from here, you get up on your toes. You start running this way. He starts to follow, and you shuck. Okay, watch again. From this position here, you're up on your toes. You start to move. He starts to follow, shuck. The whole key to this shuck is what you do with this head. You really have to take his head down in a way as you shuck. Remember, his body has to follow his head. You don't shuck his head straight across. What you do is you take it down and across. That way you're going to get more leverage as you shuck him by. Okay, watch again. From this position here, we start to move, he follows, we shuck. Nice hard shuck. The other thing I like to do, if you have a man that's real active, a guy that's a good scrambler, a lot of the time he'll react to just simple fakes. This is another good way to shuck him by. Okay, you get him in this position here, and you just do this, like this. He'll react, and then you shuck him by. What happens when you reach back and tap his leg, he'll react because he thinks that you're going to go around in a circle that way. So from this position here, you shuck or tap, and then you shuck him by. Okay, now let's go up on the feet. Talk about what we can do when this man is on his feet. Okay, we talked about a couple ways that we can get into the front headlock position from the feet. And oftentimes, the guys that use this front headlock will snap this man into a front headlock position here, and he won't go all the way down to the mat. He'll be resisting because he'll want to stay up on his feet, which is probably a good idea on his part. Okay, let's talk about getting into it. The key is a snap. You want to snap him hard. Drive your shoulder up over his head and try to control him at the base of his skull. You notice, as I snapped him, I took my inside leg back. You never know when this man might be waiting and take a shot on your leg. So as you snap him, take your inside leg back. Once you get control, either like this or control of his chin, you can move your feet back up into the position that you want them in. Okay, let's talk about ways that we can get him into a position so that we can attack him. Now let's talk about some of the ways that we can attack the opposition when he's on his feet with the front headlock. The first technique we're going to show is the cross ankle. Okay, once we snap this man into the front headlock position, to get him in a position so that we can hit the cross ankle, we want to put a lot of pressure on his head and get him leaning forward. What you would like to do is crunch his body down towards his knees so that now all of the pressure and weight is on his toes. Now, so we snap him into a front headlock position, a lot of weight and pressure right at the base of the skull. Pressure him down like such. Okay, now from here, if you can, you want to move him in a circle like that so that you can get him to step. When he steps, you can do it either one of two ways. You can change your grip and go here like such and reach across, or you can come over and control his chin. So from here, we snap him here, a lot of pressure down. Move him in a circle. Now from here, change your grip, reach across, take his ankle right towards his back. A key part of this technique is to make sure that you put a lot of pressure on his head. Get him leaning over so that a lot of the weight is on his toes. Now again, watch, he has to follow his head. If you can get him to step, there's your cross ankle. So from here, we snap him into the front headlock position like such. Now pressure down. Okay, now move him in a circle. He steps, reach across, take your cross ankle. Okay, that's one technique that you can do from this position. The next technique we're going to show is how to get this man all the way down to the mat with the front headlock. Say we snap him into a front headlock, and this man is resisting with a lot of force, trying to come up. Now from this position, you keep control of your front headlock. You try to keep all the weight on the base of his skull and towards the front again. Now from here, what we're going to do is take him in a circle away from his far leg so that his body travels in this type motion. That's a very effective way to get him down to the mat. Again, we want to squeeze his elbow into his head. We want to keep the elbow high. We want to pull him in a circle this way. A lot of the times when you take your front headlock position, you can take him all the way over to his side with the force that you get from that technique. Okay, we chop him here. All right, now from here, just like that, take him in a circle. Now, you can work yourself into a position so that you can get your 2 points. Let's try that again. Okay, first, you snap him into your front headlock position. Again, we want to take him in a circle away from that leg. The weight goes forward and away from that support leg, like such. So from here, we have him in a front headlock position. Now from here, we take him in a circle away from that leg, like that. Once you get him down on the mat, you can work your offense. A couple other things that you can do when this man is on his feet. This is called the thigh block. From here, what we do is we come across, control his tricep. All we're going to do is reach through with the arm that's controlling the head and block his far knee. So from here, we take him there and go into a cross chest. You watch again. From this position here, come across. Trap his head in, pull this forward. Now drive. From here, we go into a cross chest, like such. You can do it with the head trapped under, like such. Or from this position here, you can come in and take it there. And take it across. Either way. Another technique that we can use is the inside trip. Okay, from this position here, say you've got the opposition really resisting up with this thing. What you want to do again is take him in a circle, keep a lot of pressure on his head. Now from here, we're going to step forward, step to the inside, right all the way to your knee. Right now, take him right towards his back into a pinning situation. Okay, again, watch what we do here. Okay, front headlock position. He's resisting up. Okay, he starts to walk in. Keep this tight. You can keep it tight like this and step in, or you can come across like this. If you release and come across like this, you can reach back, control this, then step in like this. Always lean towards his head when you take him back with that technique. Okay, watch again. 1. Control him here like this. Now step, drive all the way to the knee. All the way to the knee, like such. Keep your lock, drive him right straight towards his back. Second one, control the front headlock position. Come across the tricep. Keep a lot of pressure on his head. Catch him right behind his knee. Step. Go to the knee, take him right back towards his back. Okay, now, other ways that you can use this front headlock. Okay, he's in a front headlock position here. You've got a man that's really strong. He's resisting up hard. As he comes up, you let him come up. Drive the arm across. High inside step. Change off. Okay, let's speed this up a little bit. Okay, a lot of pressure here. He comes up. Right into an inside step. To a double. Or you can go straight into a double leg tackle again. Pressure here. He comes up. Drive this arm across. Step. Double leg tackle. Right towards his back. Okay, let's work that again. The key here is controlling this arm as he bucks up. Okay, here. Front headlock position. He comes up hard, drive. 1. Lower your center of gravity, attack. 2. He comes up hard, double, attack. Those are some of the techniques that you can do when this man is on his feet. There's one other thing you want to keep in mind when you control the front headlock position. This man may be down on the mat like such. And he'll come up into a tripod position like such. Okay, now, if his feet or his back leg is close enough so that you can take it, you look for your cross ankle. So from here, you go all the way across, take that ankle, and drive him to his back. That's the other technique you look for if he's on his feet, or trying to come to his feet from the mat position. Okay, you change off, reach across, drive him to his side, take him towards his back. Now let's talk about defensing the front headlock position. Okay, I'm going to give Rick a turn to put me in a little bit of pain. Okay, when a man controls a front headlock position, like such, if at all possible, you want to try to control his elbow to the same side that he's controlling your head on, like such. Now you know that he's going to be trying to go around either to this side or shuck me that way. So you really need to control this thing and just keep trying to move with him. Okay, he starts to move. Okay, you try to keep your head up and you move in the same direction that he moves in. But you try to control that elbow, okay? That way, he may not be able to secure that takedown. Control the elbow and move with him. Now, the other thing that you look for from this position is the drag. If he has his elbow high, like Rick has, you're going to have trouble getting to your drag position. If it's low, then you reach high up on the arm, high up on his arm, as close to his shoulder as you can get. You step up and you drag out, like such. That's the second technique you can use. Now, another technique you can use when he comes into this position here is to reach up, control his arm again. Now, allow him to think that maybe he can get behind you if he travels away from the side that your head's on. So when he goes behind, you sit out and you come through that way. And that will give you an opportunity to get out of that position. This is an excellent technique. Watch again. Okay, he's controlling the front headlock position. You come up, you control his arm. He starts to travel behind. Sit through and come out the other side. I would like to thank Rick Lynch for helping out. I would also like to thank Asics Tiger for sponsoring this technique tape. They've always been the #1 wrestling shoe company in my book. This was tape number 5 in a series of technique tapes that I have put together. I hope the techniques that I showed will be useful to you. Best of luck with your wrestling.